Hello, everybody. It's time for me to weigh in on green dots. What are green dots? I want to say that Michael Saylor kind of got the internet exploding right now. He literally got the word green trending on X, and Bitcoin is getting a lot of publicity on X. Of course, Michael Saylor being the leading trend on X right now in business and finance. But as of 9 minutes ago from this recording, there's Elon Musk trending because apparently he called Bitcoin a true currency backed by energy, and energy is the only real money. Wow. Lots of positivity, but let's go back to the matter at hand. And of course, the fact that this is trending all the time is a really good thing. It's free publicity for Saylor, free publicity for the common stock which has been a product that he sells to raise money. It's also publicity for the preferred. So this is a good thing that this is trending. But Saylor knows how to make people wonder, like, what is going on? What could green dots be? Well, I tried to go on strategytracker.com to see if there's any green dots anywhere on there, and there aren't. There is no green dot, no nothing. The only thing, though, is Saylor seems to be following that tracker, which tells me that Saylor is looking at basic MNAV, and basic MNAV on that tracker is at a 0.86, right? So without assuming the equitization of a convertible, the MNAV is technically below 1, so technically a buyback could be accretive. But I don't think a buyback is the most likely. I think a buyback is probably the second or the third option, or something like that. Probably the second option, maybe is a buyback. My top hypotheses as to what stacking green means. What is green? Green is the dollar, right? The dollar is green. My take is that whatever funds he raised via the preferreds this week, my take is that it probably means they're going to stack a little bit of USD to pay those dividends. So if they, for example, had 1 year of cash cushion in their reserves that are earmarked for a dividend, I think that could assuage a lot of the fears that we've seen in the market of people complaining that he has to sell, say, the common stock at a loss in order to pay the dividends. I think that's what he could be doing. Stack some cash, just 1 year worth of cash, to pay the dividends, to make the market happy with you, and also to help maybe with an S&P credit rating. He's been mentioning about the Basel III rules, still viewing Bitcoin as having zero value, and so maybe he wants to influence that credit rating by having a little bit of USD reserves on the balance sheet in order to assuage the fears of TradFi. I think that would be my top hypothesis. The second hypothesis that I have, second or third, like I said, I hesitate between those two. But the second one, in my view, is that maybe he's generating yield by buying back some common stock. So depending on how you calculate it, if you use basic MNAV, it would technically make sense to raise money via the preferred and buy back your common. That would technically make sense, technically be accretive, technically generate a yield. Now, the question is, how would you communicate about that, right? You would have to have a pretty detailed 8K tomorrow morning if you did that, because you need to communicate on that. A third option, which we've seen other players do, which is why I think it's as likely as the buyback here. Another option would be him selling cash secured puts. So cash secured puts, of course, is keeping some cash on the balance sheet, promising to buy Bitcoin, and getting paid for your promise to buy Bitcoin at a lower price. So, for example, if he writes a bunch of, cash secured puts at 80,000, if Bitcoin drops below 80,000, he would be assigned. And I think that's also a possibility. Or, even better, a collateral secured put. A put that is not secured by cash, but a put that is secured by collateral. And we saw him with Orcam Research, who tracks the wallet of Saylor. They've seen the wallets move to Fidelity. So moving those wallets to Fidelity, was that a condition to maybe, posting it as collateral for, put writing, for put writing of some kind, or you could also borrow against the Bitcoin. Maybe he does that, but that wouldn't be green. So I don't really know about that. Maybe you borrow against the Bitcoin to generate some cash to put it in their USD reserves to pay the dividend, maybe something like that. But I think some sort of a put strategy is a third option, and then I have an unlikely fourth option. But I think eventually Saylor will get to that. Eventually, when it becomes more developed, when layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum, like Solana become more mainstream and more developed, I think Saylor will warm up to that, because that's DeFi, right? That's or that's internet finance, right? As some people prefer to call it, is generating a yield with internet finance. And there's a few ways you can do that. I think a leading way you can do it is that if you add USD, and if you add USD, you could create a pair with your BTC. You could create a BTC USD pair, and then you could create a liquidity provider token, and you can earn a yield on that liquid token, on that liquidity provider token, on a decentralized exchange platform. Which, if you believe that all platforms will eventually be decentralized, all platforms will eventually be 24/7, then it could make a lot of sense to earn a yield on your Bitcoin by pairing your Bitcoin to the USD and providing liquidity to a pool, to a trading pool. So that's unlikely in my view right now. He's warming up to the idea. He's been much kinder to Ethereum, much kinder to Solana in recent interviews. So, but I think eventually this is where this is going, because eventually all finance is going to the blockchain in my view. So this would be an option. Or you could imagine that. You could imagine him issuing a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. Why wouldn't he issue, for example, an actual stablecoin on crypto rails? And so I don't know if maybe those wallets would be associated with Tether or associated with USDC, or maybe he's trying to create something entirely new with Fidelity. But I think it's possible, right? It's possible that at some point Saylor could issue a stablecoin based on their big stack of Bitcoin. Anyways, they don't really know what they're going to do with it, like they said multiple times, but they know it's valuable, and they know it's going to get much more valuable. And the question is, how do you generate a yield? Well, he's piquing our interest. He's hinting something. Green dots. What could green dots be? My bet is stack some USD to show that you have USD in reserves in order to pay your dividends and get stretched, for example, back to 100. That's I think the most likely. Then generating yield by either buying common or selling cash secured puts. I think it's the second most likely. So anyways, we'll see. I can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's announcement is going to be special, so I can't wait. Anyways, this was not investment advice. This is not financial advice ever on this channel. Only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on X, follow me on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.